cast.
Now, CE and SPT have clashed on this map before, outside of this particular phase of HGC China. In fact, I am finding out what their current results on it are. Here we go. So, SPT, like I said, they've played on Towers of Doom before, and they only have a 60% win ratio on it.
Alright. Now, if I'm SPT, I would very carefully think about my first ban here, because Towers of Doom is a tracer map, traditionally speaking.
That is correct, yeah. It is very effective as a tracer map. And
Abathur, though, yep. Abathur enables so many heroes, and most importantly, he also messes with your opponent's rotations so drastically here. There's actually not really a lot of angles where you can deal with with an Abathur here, because he can hide behind the bell towers so efficiently, and you can't really flank him. So that's already what makes Abathur a very safe pick. And due to the way the map is designed, if he decides to go for a full mine build, he can spread it to almost anywhere on the map just by staying in the middle of the map.
It's very effective. We've seen the use of Abathur with heroes like Genji, for example, to great effect earlier in the day with a shield-based build, which was very nice to see. But like you said, the mine build on this map seems to be the most popular. CE, though, not having it.
Alright, no Genji, no Abathur, and it looks like this is a job for Hanzo. SPT, with their backs against the wall in this series, after falling down to 0-1, they're going to have to rely on Hanzo here. By no means a terrible hero, by the way, because similar to heroes like Chromie or Stitches, on Towers of Doom, they have a relatively easy time to anticipate where the enemies are going to be at, because there's only so many ways you can move around on this map.
And Hanzo has currently been picked up 6 times by SPT, and they have won every single game with him, unsurprisingly, because the majority of their heroes actually have a 100% win rate this season.
Because SPT just doesn't really like to lose that much, do they?
No, it's very much against their code of honor losing, as we do see Uther picked up by CE, preventing that big burst protection that would be a good thing to run with Hanzo, and immediately following that up with some burst damage of their own.
Alright, as CE, they like to start things, you know, very standard, but we just witnessed that they could flip the switch and turn it upside down at any given moment.
Also now, after that last game, CE have 11 wins and 1 loss with Greymane. That is quite the win rate, and they're trying to make it 12.
And if you think about it, Tetcher, they've got 2 legendary players who could take over on heroes like the Greymane. Zuyu basically had a taste of his older main role from 2017. I think it must have felt really good for him to finally get back onto his baby boy.
He definitely looks good, especially... I love it when Greymane players just roll to the other side of the core and just start wrecking it while the rest of their team dies, because the damage output's so good. People have to remember that Greymane in Walking form has some of the highest damage output of any hero.
Alright, SPT is playing this very in meta. I don't think there's any space for experiments for them.
Yeah, they've played Rhaegar this season, SPT, that is. Oh no, wait, that's just China in general. I was very confused. I was like, how have they managed to play it 22 times? I'm very confused. But yeah, they've played Rhaegar 8 times. 7 wins, 1 loss. Far more than any other support SPT have played this season.
Now, what would I ban if I were CE? And that's the cool thing about SPT's draft right now, right? They picked solid support, solid DPS, and solid warriors, so you can't really choke them out on any of the main positions. I guess I would just go for something like Tassadar maybe if you don't plan on picking it yourself, because we've seen those pesky Tassadar Hanzo compositions in the past do it very well even in China.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same. Tassadar is just a classic one
Maybe
in terms of effectiveness. Yorik's interesting because it means they're a little bit more versatile in what their tank can be.
So it looks like both teams are going to target solo laners, bruises right now, to maybe make their own solo laner shine a little bit more. Falstead is an interesting one. Falstead on this battleground could actually be very lethal, because oftentimes when you have that one global while the enemy team doesn't have a global, you can really get bell towers and altars you otherwise couldn't.
And you can see where SPT's mind is here, hovering over Chromie and Falstad here. The reasoning for this is both of these are burst heroes, and that's the best counter to the Genji, to the Hanzo, to blow him up as quick as possible. And CE have been shown to be, I believe the word, you mentioned it earlier, is legendary on the Chromie.
Oh, very true. I mean, there's actually 2 players, 3 players, even if you consider 365's last season, who could play a Chromie very well.
That's an excellent point.
365 actually innovated Chinese Chromie builds with a Q build. I'm not saying that this is the best way to play her, but he proved us wrong countless times.
Yeah, he definitely bucked convention. That's definitely a way to put it.
Now, a hero I want to talk about is Tyrael. And especially now that Jaina is being locked in for CE, that needs to be the go-to secondary warrior, in my opinion. Not just because of Holy Ground and locking people in on Towers of Doom is very easy, but especially because of the AoE shielding and protection with Sanctification against Jaina.
At Jaina, 7 wins, 0 losses so far for CE. The Dahaka, 2 wins and 0 losses. Where is Uther on their board? Wow, Uther, they don't pick him that often. There he is. 3 wins, 0 losses. So far, the only hero they have in their comp that's actually they've lost with at any point is Greymane.
Now, it actually surprises me that they don't insta-lock Tyrael, because it is also by far one of Soap's most comfortable heroes. In fact, when he joined E-Star back in the days, he was known to be a Tyrael one-trick, and he played it every single game, although sometimes it actually backfired.
And if they don't pick it, I wouldn't be surprised if CE did, because we saw how well they performed with it in the first week.
Yeah, Wind, on the other hand, is a legendary Tyrael as well. He can definitely bust it out. But no, gets taken away, and the Tassadar on top of it. Okay, so that's a lot of shielding and protection.
It's an interesting comp, very team fight heavy, but we already something that is definitely worth mentioning here, just how scary a Sanctification can be when you are getting pushed in by sappers. So controlling that bot lane could be hyper important. Tank required for CE now. Normally they would love to go for something like ETC, but it's stolen. So it is a reversion to the Muradin.
And you know what? Although Hanzo adds that infamous minus armor onto any target he hits with Q and auto attacks, they don't really have a lot of tank shredding per se. It's not like they have huge percentage damage until level 16 like maybe. But, you know what? I like that Muradin. He's going to be so tanky. He's going to be so up in their faces and proving to be that really hard to beat obstacle for them to overcome. I like it. And Wind is a really, really good Muradin on top of that.
That is... I'm excited for this. I'm considering, like, Hanzo definitely, like you said, the armor reduction, and once we get to later levels, the percentage damage is going to be a really big deal. So... the Muradin is going to be relatively uncontested, assuming that we see some really impressive micro from Wind.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And, you know, the Dahaka on top of it, I really like it too. It gives them much more flexibility on how they prioritize objectives later on. They can really out-rotate their opponents if they play it smartly. They can also surprise Hanzo from behind with a cheeky tongue to the butt.
Yeah, good chance we'll see a stage dive as well, just to try and match that global rotation, which means the mosh pit potential could be missed out on here.
All right, now let's see. So plays the Tyrael after all, as we can see here. Misaka on the ETC. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Super Perfect Team and CE entering round 2 to find out who will come out on top, or if it's going to be a draw after all.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time for several weeks, welcome to Towers of Doom with SPT on the left, Chen Zhao on Hanzo, Melody C on Tassadar, Misaka on ETC, Soap on Tyrael, and ZZH on the Rhaegar.
Their opponents looking surprisingly strong. Considering their long record of losses against SPT, it is CE with a Lufal on Greymane. Wind plays Muradin, KTY on the Jaina, 365 on Uther, and last but not least we have Zhuyu, the new main melee ranged flex, melee ranged flex, that would be too much, on the Dahaka.
What would be a melee ranged flex? Is there a hero that
would be the ultimate form, the ultimate player.
Yeah, he's basically only plays Greymane. He's the melee range flex.
There we go.
As we do see Dahaka moving in, Zhuyu taking a lot of damage, but able to tunnel before too much goes wrong. Both these teams just trading blows right now. It's very unlikely we will see a kill like we did last game very early on.
Zhuyu already using the Brushstalker to hop to top lane. He's being followed by ETC. That should be a very doable matchup for Dahaka. Actually, one that he should not lose.
So we see Tassadar just storming the minion wave, playing very far back. Does not want to get caught out unnecessarily here because, well, even with Dimensional Shift, the burst damage from CE, Jaina, even though she becomes more of a sort of sustain mage in the later game, early game, her Cone of Cold into Blizzard and the Frostbolt is still very scary.
Now, if you compare the lineup by CE and SPT in terms of how they can clear mercenary camps and how fast they can do it, I think CE is always going to trump SPT simply because of Greymane. And here comes Muradin with a leap of faith onto the platform, and it looks like they're here to stay. Dehaka joining the fray as well, and double zappers secured for CE. A kill on Soap is just the icing on the cake.
And everyone gets out.
Wow.
He doesn't even get the explosion onto the mercenaries. Only one mercenary even damaged at all. And
Huge.
that will guarantee this tower for CE.
And the clearing speed of mercenaries we just talked about. This was basically the reason why Wind could make it out there in time. He jumped in knowing perfectly well that Zuyu was there to help him out in the front line if needed. That's exactly what they did. And Zuyu already back in the middle, soaking 2 lanes. They didn't even miss out on experience at all, Tetcher.
You can see ETC, though, trying to hide, pretending he's not soaking, but after the minions push too far up, he doesn't want to lose any on those towers. As we see CE, after grabbing those towers, immediately heading back to lanes, reclaiming control over the map.
KTY, by the way, going for one of his special Jaina builds, going for the Arcane Intellect at level 4, giving him mana regen against targets that he hits that are currently frosted and chilled.
Yeah. And lingering chill to help with that, the increased duration of the chill from 4 seconds to 6 seconds, which basically means he can gain mana more often.
Yeah, really solid, really cool variation coming in here for Jaina. Actually, China has played Jaina that much that I think we've seen at least 2 or 3 different ways of building her. We see the standard sustained damage Frostbolt build. We've seen this one coming up by KTY.
Was it here or an open division where I saw the Ice Fury wand?
No, that was here. I think that happened yesterday, man.
Yeah, it was very cool to see a talent we don't see very often at all. CE putting the pressure on. Alufal being forced to roll back, though. The dog duel actually coming in favor of Rhaegar here, as Alufal's focused out. Good armor being applied by 365 as they turn it round. Wind holding back the team, and the shots have already been stolen.
Yeah, the shots in the bottom were secured by CE. By the same token, though, we now see Redemption fully stacked on SPT's Hanzo player.
Wow, well done.
That is extremely quick and is also going to be extremely useful for them because now they can dish out way more damage. Also, look at that. The PvE talent on the Scattering Arrow being taken here. The increased damage against mercenaries and minions, excuse me, instead of the explosive arrow.
Which makes a lot of sense with one of the most important bosses in the game on this map. Oh, Wind. He thought about it. He thought about it. Minions arriving just in time to save ZZH here from that kind of engaged potential. As Chen Jiao makes his way back over the wall. Another push with some more sappers coming in for CE.
Yeah, and this is what separates good players from very good players. Wind jumped over the wall. He could have had a cheeky engage here, maybe, but he knew that there wasn't a follow-up ready, so he didn't even try. He didn't even bait his teammates into following Alufal. I think he was expecting a Tassadar shield or something. He didn't really fully commit to
finish
it.
him off with the Holy Radiance, and that greed, the fact that Hanzo lived here, gonna work out very well in SPT's flavor. This might result in actually 2 kills here. If they can get to 365, there's the damage, and that's gonna be it. Soap goes down though.
Double trade value!
Fear the double ghosts. Ghost versus ghost.
Alright, Zuyu
himself, but he's still alive.
Can't be body blocked when his W is active, so that was kind of a cool move here. Keep in mind, though, that, oh my goodness, the auto attacks by ETC actually hit surprisingly hard, so you should never underestimate those. But did you see the beautiful adaptation coming in by Tyrael as well? He went for the Bound by Law at level 4 instead of going for the Stalwart Defender. And because of that increased slow and the stacking slow for 4 seconds after you queued, that's basically what slowed Alufal the entire time. It's almost like a Frozen Tempest by Arthas. It's such a good lockdown tool for Tyrael.
Yeah, gives him some amazing chase potential. Very cool to see. And we'll see how CE are going to be able to work around this, because they do have their own slows, but this time Jaina was not able to help her team. Misaka looking to try to interrupt, but the stun lock is good. He's just got on the point. Can he hold it, though? Here comes the rest of SPT. Yes, he can. And that's going to be the full retreat of SPT. Look at those slows coming in from Tyrael, though.
It's insane.
Oh,
it's
the
insane.
Missed.
Bound by Law actually secured them 2 easy peasy wheezy kills. And Tyrael is normally not known to be a warrior that excels at locking down people, especially when he doesn't go Judgment. But this one new talent on the reworked Tyrael really proving to be super valuable. Oh, nice, but nice knockback.
Denied by the face melt there, Misaka. Just so good sometimes. As we do see, by the way, Greymane going for that Quicksilver Bullets, going for Viciousness, the Eyes in the Dark and Quicksilver Bullets, the more ranged Greymane build, without taking the risk of the Wizened Duelist, as we have seen people been doing.
Another drag onto Soap, but this time he was not in range of the towers. Good follow-up damage, though, with the Blizzard by Jaina, but already we can see that SPT is definitely more stable and more prepared this time around. They're not letting themselves get overrun in the early game. They're actually leading the charge here with a slight level lead as well. Level 10 is here for both teams now. We see Water Ellie coming out, Divine Shield, Cursed Bullet.
We also have, by the way, the stage dive coming in from SPT. We did predict this, something to counter the global potential of Dahaka. And of course, rotation between the objectives is such a big deal on this map, as ETC is going to go up there to match Dahaka.
Now, there's only one altar available. No ways to outmaneuver your opponents, but both global warriors, if you will, both Dahaka and ETC, are dueling each other. Of course, one could actually interrupt the other if they make the first move, so they need to be extremely cautious not to show their hand too early.
So who will make the first move? They are dueling very intensely up there. Dahaka and ETC both take a fair amount of damage, actually, as Wind moves in onto Melody C, takes a huge amount of damage, but there's the Avatar. Stage dive coming in. Here comes Throw, a little bit slow. The Divine Shield onto Misaka, but Zuyu finds Soap. That will be the first kill of the fight, but KTY responds very quickly, going down as a Luful, looking for ZZH, but not enough thanks to the shield of Melody C.
Oh, so many targets dropping low at the same time here for CE. I felt a little bit sorry for 365 on the Uther because he tried his hardest to keep everybody alive. The cleanse was good, Divine Shield had to be used to save Muradin, but then it was a Luful circumvented by opponents, and you can really see the despair of Uther in that replay.
You see the big pain here, but it's both of the main damage dealers that take so much damage. That beautiful face melt by ETC, perfect aim, the Dragon Arrow as well, a Luful completely separated. And with both the damage dealers gone, that fight was over. If one of them had survived, CE might have been able to keep fighting. But as it were, ETC with the perfect engage opportunity.
I'm not sure if Zuyu on the Dahaka actually chose the most favorable angle to engage from, because it looked like he was not really there in that team fight. Well, speaking of team fights, there is another one. Those guys won't let us take a breather.
They're looking for ZZH, but they can't catch him. Instead, they try to pull in Tyrael, but a nice cleanse, trading assistance for assistance here.
Yeah, Luful, by the way, on that Greymane, we didn't really talk about it. Hold that thought. Here comes the Dragon's Air and the lockdown by Tyrael.
Cleanse has to be used here, but there's Stage Dive having to be used. The cleanse to try and get rid of the Tyrael slow, and as such, no way to get out of that Stage Dive by ETC.
I'm not sure if Divine Shield was ready there or if Uther was too far away. Either way, the Jaina could not be safe there. But yeah, we didn't really talk about Luthal's Greymane build. He shied away from the Cocktail build and instead went for the Dark Flight at level 4, giving him stealth whenever he disengages.
Dahaka sees this and is immediately kicked out, like, no peeking, as the boss is stolen by SPT. And as such, they will, for the first time this game, take a lead in core shots.
Yeah, really solid. And keep in mind, guys, SPT on paper, according to our statistics, a relatively unexperienced team when it comes to playing on this battleground professionally, where CE is known to, bust out a little bit of Towers of Doom every now and then.
Yeah,
look at Misaka, he's chasing Zuyu all the way.
He wants to try and interrupt, but too late. Zuyu did. Nice Ancestral, though. Nice Divine Shield on Zuyu as well as they continue to chase down Chen Xiao, trying to get the kill. The Dragon Arrow will prevent the chase, though. ETC, Stage Dive available in 4, so he can rejoin his team, but with Tyrael down, it's unlikely he will. Actually, no, he is actually coming in, but on foot.
Okay, taking the slow way, getting licked on the process, though. The shield is good. 15 armor are here.
Lots of trading back and forth. The shots have been taken, though. Once again, core health goes back to even. Very back and forth between these two teams.
Tetcher, that was such an amazing team fight. The coordination by CE was just spot on. The Divine Shield, Zuyu actually dropped low on purpose so he could bait even more cooldowns to be used onto him. And then he had his full essence to regenerate him up during the cooldown, during the duration of the Divine Shield. Beautifully done, beautifully baited, and ETC arriving way too late there.
Yeah, this, like you said, wasn't able to arrive in time. He had to run down due to the stage dive not being available and with Tyrael being taken out. CE able to take control, and once again, they try to take control of bot lane with these Sapper camps.
Sappers are marching in. Dehaka should have the Brush Stalker ready, but so is the ETC stage dive. This time we really want to see him make those plays. The Water Elemental relentlessly charging in there, and here comes ETC.
Dragon Arrow also used. Jaina immediately into the ice block, so she does not get killed off here, but she's not going to be so lucky anyway. Trying to move back. Oh. Tyrael gets it with the Eldritch Smite, but Zuyu coming in to punish Soap.
Shoot.
Misses the frag though. The isolation used and can't catch him. And Soap is gonna escape her. It's gonna be a 1-for-0.
Ooh, those were some neat little jukes there by Soap on the Tyrael, really dodging both the drag and the isolation, not really doing much as a result either, because he was already too far away. Zuyu is mad and furious right now, tries to get another tongue in, but to no great effect.
Soap living up to his name and proving to be too slippery for CE to lock down here, as we do see the Bell Tower immediately taken back in the bot lane. We're going to see top traded 1-for-1 as Wind gets scouted, but he's still able to get the delay, and this is the plan. Delay until Jaina, but they don't have 16 yet, so they may just have to let this go.
I think so too.
Nice drag.
Here comes the drag, here comes the Archon.
The Lethal arrives. Cursed Bullet is used. Jaina arriving, but the health bars are too low. They have to give this up.
Wow, huge zoning Blizzard there, really stalling and thwarting the progress of SPT. And it looks like, see, they got one ultra. They're still evenly matched, closely matched. So, as you said, there's no reason to go crazy over it. By the way, Hanzo went for the percentage damage arrows at level 16. So he's going to be able to finally deal with that Muradin and Dehaka a little bit more efficiently.
Makes a lot of sense. Very solid choice here, as both teams continue to basically live in the bot lane, except for ETC and Dehaka. ETC re-running up to go meet with Dehaka, who's already pushing top lane.
Now, 16 is going to be a big talent, especially for Uther. Well, he gains access to Benediction. He could drop the double stuns if needed. He could drop the double heals, whatever this situation requires. And that makes Uther so good there in the later stages of the game. Jaina going for the Numbing Blast, having a little bit of more CC locked down with the roots after Cone of Cold.
Yeah, and CE doing a much more efficient job of clearing the enemy sappers before they get to structures than SPT have been doing. Wind going in very aggressively here, but it's more of just a disruption to give his team time to clear up the mercenary camp.
Beautiful scatter arrow shot by Jun Zhao there, by the way, putting down...
Though.
Yeah, those storms are crippling. Now, Muradin, once again, Wind, he tries to get a lockdown here, but Zhao in trouble.
The cleanse and the ancestral keep him alive. Stage dive into the backline. Who is the target? It is going to be Greymane, but he gets cleansed down. Here's Zuyu. Drag misses as Misaka is able to power slide away.
Ah, that was too bad for CE. They could have maybe gone the Tyrael, who was in a much more ideal position for the drag to hit, but the call was made on ETC. Unfortunately, Zuyu a little bit unlucky with his drags today, but SPT showing a big time. CZH with lightning reflexes there on both Ancestor Healing and the cleanse. However, it is no longer available up to this point now.
Wind looking for another target as they are completely split between the two temples. They may just have to trade 1-for-1 as they move up to the top one. Can they stop Misaka? No, they can't even stop Tyrael because he's got the burning sword, which is causing so many delays. As we see Muradin focused down, gets the Avatar in time though, as he begins to work through, but he gets shredded by Hanzo.
He gets shredded indeed. No more Muradin, and Zuyu is running for his life. Is he going to get a scatter shot? No. The Q is enough after all. Beautifully done. But as you mentioned, yeah, Burning Halo being chosen by Tyrael, which gives him his own version of Burning Rage, causing himself, and of course the Eldruin. Oh, never mind. Oh no, it missed!
Oh, it missed. That's not going to be enough. And the boss is now aggro. This is a disaster for CE. Stage dive for good measure. Device
Run,
is
Jaina.
Enough? No, it isn't.
Oh, the point blank shot there, unfortunately not hitting. Greymane must have had his shotgun with him today. That was a little bit unfortunate.
Doing his best impression of me playing Overwatch, missing point blank with every ability. As we see SPT pick up yet another boss, creating lethal on the map for the next objective phase.
Very true. Multiple winning conditions are available now for the Super Perfect team. They can go for the safe approach and just wait for the next time there's multiple altars. They can go for several mercenary chems, the zappers most importantly in the bottom lane, or they could even try to force a boss fight. And guess what, Tetcher? With that Tyrael online, they can almost always win those trades near the boss because of the Holy Ground and Sanctification.
Exactly. Even if they do lose shots now, like you said, second that boss comes up, pretty much over. And SPT in such a good position. They want to get this bell tower for good measure at this point. They don't even need it. They already have lethal. But they still want to put pressure and give CE nowhere to retreat to, so to make it even harder for them to fight.
Yeah,
down it goes.
This could be lights out for CE if they don't fight right now. They need a result, and they need it now.
Isolation onto Hanzo, but he immediately walks into the sanctification. Dragon arrow onto Wid. KTY trapped in the holy ground, and Lufel, though, able to back round. The damage is good, but not even close to enough from CE, as SPT will get 3 members down, looking for a 4th as Sushi who is desperately trying to flee.
And the Twilight Archon by Melody C is relentless. They're gonna clean up the Haka as well, leaving nothing but some Zerg essence on the ground. And with this turn-in, it is going to be SPT tying out the series, making it a 1-1. The 2 Chinese Titans matching each other in the draw. I think that is a result that both teams can be happy with.
I would agree. Nicely done by SPT in that second game. Looked much more convincing. Able to come back from behind, actually, as CE were in control for most of that game. But CE, their performance in that game until the mid to late game and in the first game shows that they are very much on top form, and we'll have to see how they perform when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, what I really liked about this series was the way, and you know, how different